How was it like, because I've done the whole, it's called Afureko in Japanese, but like the recording session. I guess there's like one massive difference between the West and Japan is that in the West, it's, you know, one at a time. Whereas in Japan, it's all together, all at once, right?
Yeah,
and
it's like
you've probably done it next to some pretty notable people.
Yeah,
Like,
it's pretty crazy.
that?
Like, well, it's really nerve-wracking because, like, like now they record it a little bit differently, but before they used to have like 30 people or 20 to 30 people in like a room in a studio, and you'll be kind of recording the anime at the same time.
God.
And so there'll usually be like 4 microphones, and you know, all the actors will be like using that microphone like between each other.
Yeah.
And so obviously, if like someone who's bigger than you, like your senpai, is using like a mic, you can't like barge in and like, you know, use that mic. So, you know,
Might.
Let me show you the old time.
So like, you know, you have to like look out for your senpais as well, and you have to like act properly as well, and you know,
That sounds so stressful. Oh my God.
yeah.
I just want to work, you know? I don't
But it's so cool when like a bunch of like super established voice actors are doing it, because like I think this is like really famous YouTube video of like all the main voice actors for One Piece doing a scene where all of the Straw Hat crew is like talking in a scene, and they're just so fluidly like switching between microphones when like roles come up and stuff. Because like what I did as well is that like just because you're not on the microphone, it doesn't mean you're not acting, because a lot of the times people who aren't on the microphone are used for like crowd noises or like just passers by and stuff like that. And it's like, so you're constantly just like being recorded.
Yeah, it's good to have that energy, right, as well, when you're trying to act, to have like someone kind of providing the feel of the scene to you, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like that's why Konosuba especially works really well, because you hear like you hear the original like Japanese dub of it, and it kind of like you can tell that the actresses and actors are just bouncing off each other really naturally, and it's like hard to tell. It's actually some points where it's hard to tell if it's actually scripted or just like completely improvised sometimes.
They used to do a lot more for English productions, but you know, scheduling is a nightmare.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And for stuff like, you know, like a Disney movie, if you have like all these AAA actors, it's like impossible to get them all at the same room at the same time. But some movies and some shows still do it. But it used to be a lot more common, but now it's not really, it's not that much.
Yeah, because I've seen like footage of like Toy Story and stuff like that. Like all the actors for Toy Story were all in the same room, like kind of in a semicircle, and they all just had like a mic and like a stand for their script and stuff. They would just all do it all at once.
It's normally the more expensive the production, the more you can do that.
Makes
sense. If you have more money, you can tell, hey, come in. Oh, you know, for movies, they'll always do a table read, right? The actors will come in, they'll just practice it together, even if they're not recording together.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
The scary thing is because, like, you know, once the anime recording starts, it's like you have to like stay silent, even when it's not like your turn to speak. So like, even when you're reading the script and you know it's not your turn, and you want to like turn the page over, you have to be really careful not to make any sound. And like, and like when you walk up to the microphone, you can't make any sound. So like, you know, even with your clothing, it has to be something that doesn't make sound. So like, you know, you can't be wearing like leather jackets and like, you know, like that.
Could you imagine just like, hello?
They used to have like a box just full of like really old T-shirts at one of the studios I worked at, and they were just like, if you wore anything that wasn't a T-shirt, they were like, put the T-shirt on.
Wow.
That doesn't sound sanitary.
Well, it was, you know,
Just wearing someone's sweaty T-shirt, right?
They washed them, but it was just like, they were like, don't bring anything that isn't a T-shirt because it makes too much noise.
Yeah.
And like, don't have keys in your pocket or anything like that. Like, just empty your pockets. Because
I hate to be that guy who just like came on and was like, shit, I need to sneeze right now.
And I feel that like the pressure is even greater, because it's like if you fuck up a line, for instance, then all the actors are there to kind of like, you know.
So what happens if someone flubs their line when that happens?
Because we're recording like, you know, like I think we record like each 15 minutes of an anime, if that makes sense. So like if you like mess up your line, you just stay silent and just back away. And then,
have you ever done that?
Yeah. So like it's like
I could see like the PTSD in her face as she was like telling the story. I was like, oh, she's experienced this.
And it's like if you mess up, you can't say like oops or anything like that. You just have to like stay silent so the person after you can say their lines. And so like once
so they can just like cut your part, right?
And then they can
that makes sense.
take it again after the whole 15 minutes is like recorded, right? And it's really hard because when you first start voice acting, right, the director tells you like, you know, we want that line said more like this way, or like, you know, in a different way to what you did. And if you're not like able to like, you know, say it like how the director wants you to say it, you like take it again and again, but you're taking it again and again right in front of all your senpais, so like you're taking their time, and you know the director's like we want it more like this way, and you're like, okay, I'll try my best. And so yeah, it's really
that's so nerve-wracking. Like that's like pressure on top of pressure, right? Like you're already pressured to be like, I'm gonna nail my line just so I can put on a good performance.
It's like the teacher going, all right, what's the answer? Or you specifically. What is the answer to this math question? You don't know it? Come on, you can do it. Come on.
We'll all wait and try and figure it out, right?
Have you ever had like the director explain how they want you to do the line differently, and you're like, "What? That does not make any sense."
When I was first like in an anime, one of the directors told me, like in Japanese, they said, もうちょっとチャンバラみたいに. And and I was like, because I was
what does that mean?
Chambara is like soft, like sword fighting.
Yeah.
Okay.
With so basically like play sword fighting.
Yeah.
So it's like sound more play sword fighting.
Yeah.
It's so specific.
Yeah, and I was like, and at that time I was like, I didn't know the word chambara.
Got you, cheater.
It would be so awkward to ask the director, what does chambara mean, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'll try my best. And so I asked the person next to me, who was around the same age as me, what's chambara? And she told me, and I was like,
it still didn't make any sense.
Yeah. And,
what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah. And so
what does that mean? Like, how did you
find out what he wanted?
I'm not sure.
To this day, I've wondered what the take should have been.
But I got an okay, so I guess I was able to, you know.
Was that an okay, or was that like okay?
Right?
It could be either one, right?
Yeah.
There's a when you're doing lines, sometimes there's that feeling of like you're not getting it, and then you know personally you're not going to get it, and then the director's like, we'll just move on, and I'm like, no, why? Tell me.
Yeah, I get that feeling. Yeah.
Have you ever like said like a line and that you've just been like, that was an awful take, and the director's been like, all right, we're moving on now. That was a good take.
Yeah, I've had that a lot.
Okay.
That's why you should say like fuck at the end of my line if I hated it, but then they would tell you to stop saying fuck because you're ruining the line that they liked. So you'd be like, fuck, because then you couldn't use it.